Son of a bitch, dude. Why can't I roll this character? What do you mean I'm playing the wrong game? Oh, so Coco isn't in Azure Lane. I was wondering why I kept on getting Nazi boats. Oh, what game should I be playing? Oh, son of a bitch.
心ぴょんぴょん待ち考えるふりしてもちょっと近づいちゃえ簡単には教えないこんなに好きなことは内緒なの時々内緒ですよ初めが感じずんだずんだふわふわドキドキ内緒だっていたずら笑顔で
Welcome everybody to another anime figure review where we will be looking at Kirara Fantasia Coco, which was stuck in COVID shipping hell for a very, very long time. But now we're finally able to open her up, take a look at her, and I was trying to find the origins of the Kirara Fantasia because my Jazz Chino, which is in the display case outside, which I'll show a good picture of, the Jazz Chino I knew was from an art book, and I own the art books, so I'm looking through, and I'm like, where's the Kirara Fantasia? Because, you know, there's the Coco and the Chino. And then I looked it up, and I realized, like, oh, this is from a crossover with an actual video game. Because at first, I thought, oh, this might be from one of their April Fools, where the website turned into, like, this cute little JRPG, you know, mobile type game where, you know, you can unlock a background that you could download onto your computer. That was really cute, but, you know, it was a cute little thing. But then I extended my Google search and discovered that it's actually from a crossover with a game, Kirara Fantasia, which features a lot of other girls. I don't know anything about it. It looks like it's JP only. So, yeah, that is where Kirara Fantasia Coco comes from, and I wanted it because I thought, well, I mean, it's a really cute figure, and Gochiusa is one of my favorite anime. I will buy almost everything I can from it, but I thought that it was along the same line as, like, Maho Shoujo Chino and, you know, Phantom Thief Lapon, which are, I want that Phantom Thief Shadow. I really do, but, yeah, that is where this figure comes from. Now, if you didn't know that, you have a little bit of background, and I have a little bit more context as well. And as per usual, we'll start with just looking at the box, which presentation, fantastic. We get to see the nice big Coco right here. We can see inside the little teacup is actually separate from her, so you got to put that in her hand later. But we can see on the side of the box, you get a really good shot of what you're going to be looking at. The back of the box actually has a little bit more, so it has her at different angles. So I think this is a really well presented box. It's every single side of it is just going to show you exactly what's in the box, which is, you know, it's a scale figure. You're going to get what you're going to get. It's not very posable. It's not going to be doing anything special unless it is one of those that comes with some alternative faces, which this does not. But yeah, just looking at it, you know, top is usual, bottom is whatever. But box, very good presentation, and it's made of a thicker cardboard, so it's nice and stable, and I don't plan on breaking it or ripping it at any point anytime soon, like I would with a more flimsy, like, prize figure box. Now, I will say, and this is something that I've run into with storing some of my anime figures, this little plastic window on the top and this plastic window in the front, the older the box gets, the more the glue will deteriorate and the plastic will kind of just punch in. So I'm not sure how to fix that or how to get around it. But if you want to keep your boxes in pristine condition, which I don't really care about because a lot of these things I'm just keeping for myself, then you might want to be careful about that. But just for me, I don't. So it doesn't matter if the box falls apart a little bit. I don't plan on reselling these anytime soon, like maybe if I were to fall in dire straits or if I lost the negative lottery and had to pay someone $1 million. I don't really know. But here we get a little bit of instructions, how to put together our Coco, which it looks like the stand, there are 2 points of contact between the stand and her foot, which looks like it's going to be really stable because, I don't like anime figures where there's only one point of contact and the stability is not very good. And it looks like there's a little bit extra back here with the sword. So let's crack this open. But let's take a look at our Coco here, and wow, she is a cutie. She's, wrapped up tight in plastic. She has this little foam thing going around her waist to protect that bow and her elbows, which I think is a nice touch. Plastic is really wrapped around her skirt for maximum protection there, around her neck and head and hat, which seems to be customary. So let's I don't think these objects are removable. Oh, okay, the hat is removable. The head, I'm going to assume, is also removable. Yeah, head is removable. So this would have been a good opportunity to have multiple faceplates, but hair can't come off. The head is, pretty rough in there. Not that that really matters. It pops out easily, so you can remove the plastic, and you pop it back in pretty quickly as well. The hat, she has a weird little peg on the top of her head that you can kind of see here for her hat. And let's put her on her stand, which is a cute little rabbit house thing. I'm not really sure. Oh, okay, right up here. Gotta look up her skirt and be a little bit perverted if you want to put her on her stand. Let's see. And now she is stable. So, let's put the sword on her back as well. There's a tiny little square on the sword because there is a very, very tiny little peg on her back, which you just slide that on. It felt like it clicked into place too, which I like that. That means that is not going to be moving and that will not fall off. And then, as we put the garbage away, the final piece, the little coffee cup that has a little graphic of, oh, it's the first little rabbit she ever made in the show. That's cute. All right, and then we put that into her hand. Her thumb is a little bit malleable, which I'm not sure how malleable it's supposed to be. Whoops. But here we go. I am getting increasingly frustrated with this coffee cup. She doesn't have a tight grip of it at all. All right. So now that assembly is complete, we can take a look at her from the tip of her hat to the tips of her toes. And I will say she is quite adorable, but I should also mention that the grip on the mug is quite loose. It's not something that's going to snap in like the sword did on the back, so be careful with the mug. And right now, that is my only issue, which is not the best first impression, but let's take a closer look at her. So first things first, we'll take a nice good look at the hat. The bow on the hat is pointed upwards like two cute little bunny ears, and the details on them are incredibly tiny. Like, wow, that is some tiny marks right there, and that's why I think there is a little bit of a scuff on the paint. So you can see right above the right crescent. I think that's a scuff mark and not an attempt at a more elaborate design. So already a tiny little bit of scuff. On the other side of those rabbit ears, it looks perfectly fine. So, not too much of an issue there. The rest of the bow looks quite good. The little gold fringe on the pink part of the bow looks really nice. And the rest of the hat, well, there's no issues that I can see with it. The sculpt looks fine. The paint looks really well done. And like I mentioned, you can pull the hat off of her head. You get a look even on the inside. Of course, you're not going to be looking at the inside of the hat, but it's not well refined, which is understandable. And you get a good look at the peg on Coco's head, which, it serves its purpose. It's completely utilitarian, which is fine. And the hair bow, or rather her headband, ends at the hat. So, yeah, her head bow ends at the hat, which again, when you pick it up and off of her head, you could see that. So, taking a few shortcuts right there, which I'm not too surprised about. And as I'm moving her around, coffee mug falling out of her fingers, that's going to be an issue probably as we continue forward. Coming down into her hair, the highlights of her hair, they look cute and well done. No scuff marks from what I can see, just like this one cowlick on the right of her head looks like it was pasted on afterwards. And the shine on her hair, it's not anything special, but it does serve its purpose. It shows where the lighting is coming from. There isn't too much shading done in her hair. Like, it doesn't go from light to dark or dark to light or anything. Like, here at the front, it is a little bit lighter, and then at the tips, it is darker. But on the back of the head, as we go back there, there's not too much going on. It's just, paint strokes, and it does get darker around the folds and, where, I guess, hair would be massing up and clumping up, which I think is a good touch. Coming down into her side tail, it has a lot of nice little curves. I don't see any paint errors. I don't see any sculpting errors. When you get really close to the base, like right up under here, if you're looking up from underneath, you can see a tiny little scuff, but you're not going to be looking at that, so that's very forgivable. That's probably where they glued the side tail to the head, so definitely not going to take away points for something like that. We can move down now into her face, her ears, her neck, which her face is, it's a nice, cute anime figure smile. If this is your first time ever seeing her as a character, Coco as a character, then it would just be like generic anime girl face. But this is, her smile. She's always smiling. She's always laughing, having a good time. And, this is a part of her character, which is, just being a happy-go-lucky, cute little idiot. And so she has this nice, cute, happy-go-lucky smile. And she looks adorable. And, no errors with the eyes or the face or the ears. The ear is quite well sculpted. And the other ear that's kind of hidden back there, can't really get a good look. But she looks pretty good. As we move down into her collar, though, the collar is a nice maroon color with some gold accenting and some cream-colored frills, which is really nice. I know that this... I'm not sure who designed this character. I could probably look that up later. But whoever chose these colors, I really like these colors. I don't see any painting errors, even with the very fine details, like right along the ridges. There's a little bit of maroon on the white, but other than that, like the gold lining really helps bring things together. The fabric is kind of scrunched up around the neck where it would be scrunched up, so it all looks really good. Like, this looks really well done. Moving forward into the bow is really nicely done too. Like, I don't see any painting errors on this. The gold and the red, where the top meets the bottom, it doesn't line up here on the part of the bow that frills outward, but that's it kind of does take your eye away from it if you can see the fact that they don't line up, and that is not very good looking. But if you look at it from below, it looks fine. If you look at it from above, that's where you can kind of see it better. And optimally, you're going to be looking at this head on, so you're not going to be seeing that issue. But the little bunny rabbit right in there and the design on the bow itself, like, those are really well done. This is really good. Like, for something that small, you would expect like a little bit of chunkiness, but the detail is incredible. Like, it's really, really good. So this is, really nice looking so far. Moving down into, let's do her arms before we do her torso. So let's do her right arm, the one that's pointing out and down. Shoulder coming down into this bow. The bow, again, looks really well done. This time, the gold lines up from the bottom to the top, so there's not going to be that error on the little straps coming down. But the way the bow looks, There are some crease lines in here that do look a little wonky, but other than that, the bow looks very well done. The little armband attached to her arm. You're not getting too much skin dentation there. Like, you can feel it with your finger that the armband is kind of different. And you can kind of see it. I think I would chalk this up to painting error, because you could see that there's this little ridge here. There's a little ridge here that I think that's a painting error, because the red and the gold don't match up to this edge, and then it comes down into her white sleeve. So I think that's a painting error. It's not a very major one. Like, if you're just looking at it from afar, then, your eye is not really going to be drawn to that. So it looks pretty fine. But coming back closer, you can kind of see, like, oh, this gold line doesn't match up with this ridge, this bump here. It's a small error, but not too big. Coming down into her glove, no details on her fingers, of course, because, she's wearing a glove. But the glove is nice and form-fitting. It's got a lot of good color variations because it's a leather glove. You can see, like, around the wrist, it's a little bit lighter, but at the edges, or where the leather is going to be a little bit thicker, it's darker, so that's a nice little detail. The hand looks fine. Usually, again, with details this small, you might see a little bit of, I say artifacting because that's like a carryover from when I was like a 3D designer kind of thing. But I'm not sure what the right term would be. But like a little extra clumpiness right here between the knuckles. Not too big of an issue. Looks good. Coming down into her other arm, now we see that this bow on the other side, it looks equally as good as the right arm. And no painting error on the ridge here. Like I mentioned, the ridge on her right arm, the paint was like half of a millimeter off. Over here, it's spot on. So now the gold fringe kind of lines up with where the ridge is on the arm as it goes down into the sleeve. And then, similar to the other hand, no real details to speak of, but the arm does look good, the leather looks good, and this is where I'll talk about the little coffee cup. The coffee cup is a very nicely done accessory. The only issue I have is that it does not seem very stable in the hands of Coco here. Like, the thumb kind of comes away a little too quickly, or rather, not too quickly. The thumb kind of, it's a little too malleable, so you can't really squeeze in the coffee cup, whereas, like, there are some other figures where the grip is so tight or it's so not malleable when you try to shove something in there that you're afraid you're going to break it. And I'd rather have that and know that the accessory is going to stay in there than have, an accessory that could fall out at any moment and then, you might lose it, but I'm putting this straight into a display case. I'm not going to be losing it anytime soon. The little graphic on the top of the coffee mug, which you can see it's a little bit flowing as if she's moving the coffee, so the coffee is kind of pooling up on one edge. That's a really good detail that I really like that they added. The graphic is adorable because that's her first latte art that she ever did, was a cute little bunny rabbit, and it looks adorable. I like the look of it. It's well made, except for the hand thing. Going down into her torso now, we have this belt strap that goes across her front because it's holding the sword on the back, which we will get to in a little bit. But this belt strap, the belt buckle, all of this looks really well done, really well sculpted. It looks like it's an extra piece that was wrapped around her body and probably like melted to her body a little bit later on. So it looks like a separate entity, and I think it is, and I like that. And then we also have the white blouse that she's wearing. We can see it puffs out in the front here. I'm not sure if the pink shading, like very, 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 very faint pink shading, if that's a result of like the lighting from the nearby red or if that's on purpose, but it looks cute. It fits her character. And, this very, very faint pink white blouse looks nice, and we could see even like coming up into the armpit the red frills around the edge to really complement the red with white frills that is on the back of her neck. That's a really nice touch. I like this. I love this character design right now. It's absolutely adorable. Now, as we do follow the belt strap to the back, this is where we see the massive sword. We have another big bow back here. We have well, yeah, that's just about it. Massive sword and the really big bow for now. The sword, well done. There's not too much to it. You know, it looks like a sword. It's smooth. It's nice feeling. The design on the sword, you know, it's a lot of nice little detail, but, you know, I work in a game shop now, so seeing a well done accessory like this, like, yeah, you know, this is something that would go on a He-Man, or it would go on, you know, something like that. So, you know, it looks nice. It looks well done. Like I mentioned earlier with the peg, you can see right here where it attaches to her back that it is a bit separated from her body, and it's attached by this little golden, I don't know what to call it, so I'll call it a little golden thing. That looks fine too. I don't see any sculpting errors or painting errors. Like, no bleeding over of the gold onto the strap, no bleeding over of the strap onto anything else. So this sword and that belt look really, really nice. Then we have the big billowing bow, which had a lot of the plastic wrapped around it to keep it safe. And this thing is nice. It is really beautiful. It's nice and smooth. There's no paint errors whatsoever on it, though I can't imagine, considering the whole costume is pretty much red, that there would be any paint errors in the first place. But it's your generic standard bow. It doesn't have any of the gold frills, which I like that it doesn't have that, because then it would have been too busy. Because if it has the gold frills on it as well, just like the rest of the outfit, then I feel like it would have been too busy. So this is like a nice, stable, you know, in terms of design, this is like a nice stop where this is something more basic that kind of brings everything back, that ties it back into the, you know, simplicity that is Coco's character. She's a dumb, happy-go-lucky girl that wants to fight for her little sisters. So as we continue around the front from the bow into, I guess we could start talking about the giant billowing skirt, I guess we could call that. The big billowing skirt that's maroon and gold and has hints of red scattered throughout the pattern as well. We'll start from the front, but these little triangles in the front, nicely done. You can see the paint line even, like how they painted across like line by line. And I like that because it makes it feel like, you know, this is how it was deliberately stitched, as if it were, you know, real fabric. This is how this was put together, and it looks really nice and smooth. We can even come into these little gold buckles that are keeping the skirt from flying off of her. It's kind of like a cape, sort of, but it's also like her corset thing, because it comes around her back and it's linked at the front here. I don't know how a regular human being would wear this thing, but it looks really nice. We have, you know, again, like, it looks like these elements were created and painted separately and then put on afterwards, which I really like. I always think that's a better option, because then you don't have any weird artifacting or weird, you know, paint errors that might go over and ruin the nearby things. So that looks really good. As we move towards the side and into the back of this massive billowing cape, we only really see like one fabric fold on the back here, because for the most part, you know, whether it's the wind or her magical powers that are blooshing it out like whoosh and foosh, all of this fabric out, there's it's all going out and up, and you can even see it's all curved too, as if the wind is catching it and pulling it up. And it's like in the moment where everything initially comes up and everything poofs out. So it's not billowing just yet, but it's getting there. And then again, like even on the back here, no real paint or sculpting errors. This is really well done. I love the design. I love the colors. I love the craftsmanship of it. And now that I'm looking closer, it looks like these red triangles are stickers. Because I can see a little bit of lifting up on this right triangle, like right at the tip of the right triangle. I think these are stickers, which, hey, if that's one way to take a little shortcut and, if that's one way to take a little shortcut and make it look good, then by all means, it still looks really good, even if these are stickers that are put on afterwards. Now I have to go back. Like these triangles in the front now, too, you can kind of see a double line in the gold. They might be stickers, which that would be interesting. I'm not about to start ripping them up, but if they are stickers, that's an interesting choice. And I like that because it still looks good. And it helps make the cape look smoother and so on and so forth. Overall, everything about her clothes right now are very nice. As we move into like her underskirt right now, the pink and the white. There's not too much being revealed here, so there's not too much to say. So I will say that, if you want to look around the back at her white panties, or if you want to look at the front at her leggies, they look fine. Standard, skin colors, standard generic panties. No errors down here, except for like this one line that definitely isn't a panty line. I'm not sure what that could be. And now I feel like a pervert for staring at her underwear for too long. So let's move away from that. Her skirt, again, nothing too special going on there. There's a few black specks of dust here or there. And yeah, it's still well done. It's, like they say, if you do everything right, then it's as if you've done nothing at all. Kind of like, how with sound design, they'll only get on your case if something goes terribly bad, because that's when you can notice it. But if it's done right, then all is well. Nobody notices that it's done right. And that's a majority of the legs right now. The skirt, the legs, the shoes, it's all done right. So there's not too much to comment on. Like there's a little bit of skin dentation where the thigh high meets the thigh. There's really good sculpt on the ankle, on the legs, on the shoes, even on the little buckles on the shoes. Like those are well painted, well sculpted. So overall, just really, really nice looking legs. Then as we come down into the stand, the way the stand is holding her up, you can see another panty shot back here, that there's a peg going up into the cape to support her from the back, and also this peg down here that's clear so you can kind of see it, which I'm not sure how much I like that, but the peg going into her foot to keep her stable there. So that is how she is being kept stable. And then into the base itself, it's kind of plain, like disappointingly plain is how I would put this. Disappointingly plain is how I would put this particular stand, because this is, a collaboration with a video game that's obviously high fantasy, magic, swords, all of this jazz going on, and the stand is just white with rabbit house on it. It's like, if I wanted white with rabbit house on it, like I would expect something like that to have, come from the Plum figures, where it's just them in their normal outfits. Like, this is her in a magical outfit in a magical different new world, and I'm sure she has some big magical abilities that I don't know about because I have never played Kirara Fantasia. So I'm kind of disappointed to see that there's no personality put into the stand. And that's where a lot of places, I think, kind of get it wrong. Like, there's good opportunities to put personality in the most simple part of the figure, that being the stand. Like, you can make up for, a lazy expression with, like, a good looking stand, I think. And there's nothing special here about it. There's nothing referencing the fact that she has a massive sword on her back, nothing referencing the fact that she's, magical girl right now. It's just rabbit house, and that is a little disappointing. So that is it for this review. Overall, this figure is very well done. Again, just watch out for the little teacup or coffee cup up here because it's not a very strong connection. It's pretty loose, unfortunately, and it's I'm just afraid it's gonna fall out of her hands, and I don't want that to happen. And I want my camera to focus, please. Thank you. But yeah, you could see like it's not a very strong grip on the coffee cup, and I don't like that. And that is my only real gripe about this figure. Otherwise, I think it was well worth the price. I love everything and anything from gochiusa. This is a very well done figure. It's very well sculpted. It's very well painted. Got to research more about if they're using stickers on these type of things or not. But it's a beautiful figure, and I highly recommend it. Even if you're not into anime, or if you are a Kirara Fantasia player, and you're kind of on the fence about a figure like this, I would probably say get it because it is cute. You might just think at first she's a generic, standard Maho Shoujo anime girl, but if you do have the understanding from gochiusa, where you know more about her personality, then I think her personality really shines through here, again, except for the stand where they could have added a little bit more, which is a little disappointing, but it is what it is. And overall, I like it a lot. I do not regret this purchase. I'm glad I have this figure, and I cannot wait to see where I'm going to put her in the case. And that is going to be it from me. This video should be posted somewhere around Christmas or after Christmas, between the week of Christmas and New Year. So I hope you all had a wonderful Christmas. I hope you will all have a fantastic New Year. And if you get any holiday money, I would recommend spending it on the Kirara Fantasia Coco figure. Not that I'm sponsored by anything. Except, speaking of our sponsors, here's a message from one of our sponsors. Play me out, Johnny. Start.
Man, my computer keeps doing this dumb thing when my screen turns black, and of course it happens during stream. This shit sucks, man.
Have you tried turning it off and turning it back on?
I've tried everything. I think it's this other PC building company completely screwing me over.
I hear you guys are having some computer troubles.
Yeah?
You should be buying from Artesian Builds.
Artesian Builds?
Artesian Builds! They've got everything you need for your high-end gaming hobbies. They've got dozens of options for all of your new computer needs. I put the dirt block on the wood block. Custom keyboards, custom computer cases, and more are available in the merch store so you can fully own your unique gaming experience. Just don't go too overboard on the RGB. Just use command Artesian in the chat to get the affiliate link or check the description in the video below. Disclaimer, I only get money if you buy a full PC rig. Nothing in the merch store gives me any kind of commission.